Hey everybody, this time around we're going to look at my wizard that I'm using on Torment, so let's get right to the skills. My primary is Electrocute with Chain Lightning, that way it hits up to 10 people. My secondary is Arcane Orb with Spark, turning into lightning damage. Great all around for AoE, and even single target. The rest of them I just went with damage increasers. My familiar with Spark Flint gives me 10% increased damage while giving me a little boost to single target. Conjuration Storm Armor with a shocking aspect. This helps with single target, and also critical hits have a chance to electrocute a nearby enemy for 51% weapon damage. That helps with AoE. Magic Weapon, 10% increased damage, along with attacks have a chance to cause lightning, more AoE, 61% weapon damage. And then finally my defensive Teleport with Wormhole that allows me to move around quickly or get out of anything I don't want to be in. That's killing me since I'm kind of squishy. My passive skills are Paralysis. This helps with kiting and also stun locking single targets when you're using your skills repeatedly, like Electrocute, Arcane Orb. This really helps for survivability. Blur, I'm a little squishy. I only got 400,000 health, so I'm using Blur right now. Once my defense gets higher, life gets higher, I'll take that off, replace it with something else. Prodigy, since I'm using Electrocute so much, I'm going to be using an Arcane Orb a lot too. I'm using this to keep up my arcane power, so if I need to spam Arcane Orb I can, which really doesn't happen a lot. And then finally Arcane Dynamo. This is a 5-stacking passive that allows Arcane Orb to gain 60% more damage after the 5th stack. So using these two together, this really helps when I'm electrocuting. Then I throw an Arcane Orb, it's 60% more powerful, so it's more like 500% damage. So that helps for maybe another million on crit. Otherwise, the gear that helps with this build is Thunder Fury, of course. I stole this off my Barbarian, changed it over to Intellect. But this is a great build, all lightning damage with the jump. Really powerful weapon, highly recommend it for anything. And then my offhand is Mycon's Ball of Hate. I just recently got this, took me about 1,000 blood shards, but I finally got it. Electrocute can chain to enemies that already have been hit. That's a huge change to Electrocute, which can only hit enemies once. Now we can actually jump back and forth between them, so this is great for this build. A big damage increase for even like when you're down to 2 enemies. So highly recommend that. Otherwise everything else is just kind of geared towards lightning damage. And that's about it. There's a lot of room for improvement, but for right now I am doing 700,000 damage without any buffs. Right now I got a 53% increase in lightning damage, so that would probably make that over 1 million. And then along with Electrocute and Arcane Orb increases. So right now I'm doing quite a bit of damage. You'll see I typically get about 500,000 to about 4 million, sometimes 5 million crits. But since I'm hitting him so much with all these skills, it really adds up. My critical hit chance is 40%. Could be higher, could be about 10% higher. That's where I'd like it. But for right now I'm at 40 critical hit damage, 413, one about 500. But right now it's working great. My area damage, that's just passive. It came with some gear that I got. Otherwise, 6 million toughness, not that great. A little squishy. Healing's pretty low, so I gotta rely on a lot of orbs. But all that will change the more I play. This is just the first. This is just when I got comfortable with Torment. After I got the pieces. So also I wanted to put this in. I'm using Enchantress because it's easier to get her gear because she also uses Intellect. Good luck getting Dexterity or Strength. So of course I use the follower using on solo. I use the follower that uses the same stuff I do, but I did give her Maximus, and then this has a chance on hit to summon a demonic slave. Since I'm never going to use this, I gave it to her, gave it a try, and then she will actually summon the slave quite a bit. The demon will also tank single targets too, so I highly recommend this. Keep you DPSing instead of kiting. So hook that up and you'll be blown through shit a lot easier. Otherwise, let's get to it. So with this build, all I really do is launch an arcane orb into a group and then start electrocuting, and then rinse and repeat, and that's all it really takes. Things die really rapidly, and then what you see on the ground there is my belt proc. That dazes and slows everything inside of it for a few seconds. Great for CC. Along with the stuns, it makes it so that pretty easy kiting. Keeps me alive. As you can see here, I'm fighting a rare group or an elite mob, but it really isn't any problem, especially with that electrocute jump. Even though there's 3 of them, it'll jump back and forth just as long as you keep it up on them. It's no problem. And if you need to move, just launch an arcane orb that might stun them, but it'll also damage them too. So quite a bit of movement involved, but I expect that from a wizard. But I don't really take all too much damage, and then it gives me time to run over, grab an orb, run off. My pickup radius isn't that great, but that's all fine and dandy. As you can see, I just blow right through stuff. This quickly became my favorite character so far after the gear that I've got. It's always changing though, depending on gear, and I've noticed that the wizards are really gear dependent. A lot of people said that they're just weak and everything like that, but what I've noticed is that they really pick up their game when you start synergizing what gear that you have and how it ties into everything. As you can see, I just walk away a little bit, they'll get stunned. I don't even have to kite them far. I walk back by them. Maybe walk into one of those fucking lasers. But otherwise, this build is really good for both solo and multiplayer. Multiplayer really shines because you have your CC with the stuns. And if you have any other gear, that helps. There's also a ring that'll increase that stun rate. I haven't got that yet. I am hoping to get it and see how well that does. But otherwise, here, I'll show you the how the orb works just by using electrocute. It'll just keep chaining, and it'll create this real thick, I don't know if I fight any enemies that don't die so quickly, this thick beam of just lightning that you'll just see their health go down. As you see, I get a lot of crits too. There's crits everywhere. Even at 40%, 50% it gets pretty crazy. I did have it at 50, but a few pieces of gear later it kind of dropped. So that's about the video. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like and or subscribe to Dread's Escape, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.